So yeah, how's everybody else?
Doing all right, trying to get my sleep schedule back in order because I had to do early morning shifts for the last couple days, so kind of messed with my normal sleep schedule, but now I'm back to normal.
And overall not bad on my end, just, usual. And speaking of back to normal, what actually is your actual normal schedule if early morning is so different?
Usually wake up around like 7-ish, because most of my shifts begin at 9. The last 3 or 4 days, had to wake up around like 4:35.
I don't miss early morning, but glad that you're getting back to some sleep.
As am I.
Okay then, getting my bearings here. I just woke up from my nap.
Me? Plans? Nah. It's fly by the seat of my pants as best as possible. Of course, it's mostly falling versus flying, but, it works out in the end. What's a few more scars and bruises?
We're not flying, we're falling with style.
Victims of gravity, we are all.
It always wins.
I don't know what you guys mean, have a problem with gravity. Gravity's always been there to catch me with the ground. It's been perfect,
Alrighty then. Everyone's here and we're ready.
Yeah.
Or as ready as we're gonna be.
I mean, I'm here. And I have a cat screaming at me.
Alrighty then. Well, if we're going to put this out in the public, I guess the best thing to say, as many other of these games do, is that this is an adult game and an adult session, dealing with some topics that may be triggering to some people, etc., etc. People are playing characters that are monsters and horrible people who make horrible decisions and do horrible things. So, beyond that, this is episode 1 of All of Us Sinners, called Every Ending. We'll start with the city, New York, the Big Apple. Over 8 million people live within New York City, almost 20 million within the greater metropolitan tri-state area. People flock to the city. It's a cultural hub. It's a financial hub. It's home to the pharmaceutical industry. It's a vast difference between the haves and the have-nots, the very powerful and the very poor, both haunted streets. Even in the real world, it's full of dark shadows and deep corners and danger. And in the world of darkness, it's even more so. During the day, streets are packed, sidewalks packed, the hustle and bustle of industry. But our characters would know nothing about that, because they are dead when the streets are packed. waking only as the sun drops behind the sky. The last reflections of the sunset bouncing off the girded skyscrapers that dot Manhattan. So we open up, pouring into an apartment building in Harlem, where Finn opens his eyes and looks around. And what do we see, Finn?
Well, awakening, resurrecting for the evening, first is the question of why the fuck am I in Harlem? My squat's down in Yorkville, and one of the reasons for that is to get away from everything that I formerly was, and that was a ball of potential that never quite reached its temperature. Being in Harlem means that I ran afoul of someone from a former life, someone who actually knows Finn as he was growing up. In Harlem, the apartment, the squat, the flat would be a 3-bedroom, wood-floored, high-ceiling throwback to a different time. The windows, a threat as always, not a question, because I died for the day in the bathroom. The partiers from a different life sprawled across the apartment, coming to life themselves slowly, moment by moment. First things first is making sure that I didn't accidentally drain them too much. The next thing would be how to get the fuck out of here quietly without making more of a mess of things than it already is.
So as we awaken, we'll do some bookkeeping. If everybody wants to roll their awake check, we'll assume everyone is at 1 before they got to this point. All right, so Finn wakes and the beast snarls at him, angry to be moving yet again. For some reason he's in Harlem, because I thought that's where he lived. But that's neither here or there. Our gaze then moves across the city to, I'll let everyone else describe where they live so I don't make that mistake again, to a young gangrel named Lyric. What do we see when Lyric opens her eyes?
Lyric kind of wipes at her eyes. She had a long night, barely made it home before the sun. The nature of her mundane sort of work, meaning she closes the clubs out most nights. Looking around her place, she has picked the darkest, most away from everything corner to place her bed. It's a 1 bed, kind of like 1 bath. Not in efficiency, it's a little bigger than that, but not much bigger than that. Realizing she's a little hungrier than she should be. Thinking about, okay, gotta go to work tonight, unless something else comes up. But I don't want to go to work hungry, so what am I gonna catch? Or who am I gonna catch to eat in the meantime? And pretty much just gets herself up, goes to the bathroom, starts washing her face, putting herself together, taking the bonnet off, checking her braids. Just her usual, kind of get up and moving. The whole time thinking about like that next move. How do I get something to eat?
And then our gaze drifts to Jacob. And what do we see there?
Jacob jolts awake, having died at his desk, as he so often does these nights. Getting his bearings, again, he looks around, realizing that he had essentially died during the middle of one of his experiments. Fortunately, this time it didn't ruin anything, as he had to wait a long time for the reaction to occur anyway. In front of him are a array of vials filled with blood and other liquids, as well as some Petri dishes in front of him, all labeled various different combinations of numbers and letters designating how many attempts that he has gone through with this experiment. Looking behind him to get his bearings a little bit better, he sees the stacks of disorganized books and papers, the many references that he keeps for himself posted along his walls and on the corkboards. The only lighting in the room is a single fluorescent overhead light. This is the only source of illumination here, as I said. He turns back to the various vials and grabs a pipette. Now that the reaction has given enough time to take place, he decides to pick up where he left off with this particular experiment. He is not hopeful with this one, though. He has seen too much failure to expect any results from this particular attempt.
And then that leaves us with the last member of our little group, or soon-to-be group, Miss Penny. What do we see when Penny opens her eyes, her beast snarling in her head?
The room that she has specifically designated as her bedroom. Very lavish, at least compared to how it was when she was growing up. She scratches, her metaphorical tummy rumbling, but she just lays there for a moment, enjoying the nice fine sheets. Then she will arise and prepare for the day, or the night rather. But first, she will, as she typically does after getting ready, swing to the next floor down of the building to her escape room. Check in on business. And perhaps grab a quick snack.
Well, if that's your intention, if you'd like to make your hunting roll to see how that comes out, you are free to do so. All right, well, we won't go into much detail this time, but you do manage to find a little snack, something to take the edge off. Returning back to Finn, this evening is a little different than your normal evening in that you have a message that appears to be from your sire. A handwritten note attached to another scrap of paper.
Ah, shit. Why is she bugging already? Even ain't even got going. Take a quick look at the paper. Hopefully it's nothing too bad. Nor is me as a pain in the ass by any stretch of the definition. I don't know what crazy shit she's on, but she's getting me tight already. Taking a quick look at the paper at this point, Still trying to figure out how to sneak out of the partying that clearly lasted far too long last night. Normally, I'm a little bit more careful, but in this case, I don't think that was the case. Especially being as she's here. Oh, fuck. What does she say?
In her plain handwriting, says basically, or exactly actually, my dearest child, there's a thing that I require of you. It is to go to the following address and pay one of my debts. And then the scrap of paper is an address, which is in Midtown.
Of all the crusty, dirty bullshit, now, really? Okay. I can't get that tight about this. It's to be expected after all, right? She gonna do what she gonna do. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I guess I gotta get all the way across town to Midtown. And she didn't even say what this is gonna be. Knowing her is gonna be some amount of blood or pain on my part. First things first is, let me sneak out of this apartment. Now normally, there's just the front door, the fire escape. So easing out of the bathroom, is there a clear shot to the fire escape to get down and out of here, or do I have to make my way through the apartment?
You could go either way. It seems fairly quiet in the place. You feel like maybe you might be able to have the same results going either way, but the fire escape would definitely be the easier route, at least to exit the premises.
Oh yeah, easy is always the best way. No sense of doing a walk of shame when I ain't got to.
So you're able to ease the window open, climb out onto the cold, rusty metal, and down the flight or two to drop into the alley and make your way.
That's exactly what's in mind. Now, she said I gotta get out of Midtown. I'm taking it that's nowhere near Hell's Kitchen, so ain't no way I can swing by and pick up or see if I can steal Rick away from her work, because knowing Noor, it is most definitely gonna be something painful for me, and I'd much rather not be put into a situation.
It's probably doable. You've got some time before you gotta be there, and Hell's Kitchen is not terribly far from Midtown.
Nah, it's on the other side of the park. That's cool. Alright, so I normally don't do this, but I'm gonna have to stay as crusty as I am from last night and head in that direction. See if I can scare her up.
Alright, so you move across town. As usual, there are always people on the street in New York. However, it is not nearly as packed as it would be during the day. You're able to get across town with relative ease. The multitude of blocks that it takes to get down there. And I assume that we find Lyric arriving to one of her places of employment, her primary place of employment, I'd gather.
Yeah, she working at the club like she normally would, but the thing is, since it's a strip club, they expect her to wear at least something similar, but the fact that she's a door person, so having gotten dressed and done at least a little bit of makeup, I think Finn would probably catch up with her right as she's about to head in for the night. So seeing him, hey, what are you doing this time of town? Normally you don't get out here too much unless you're coming to see me. What's up?
Well, you hit the nail right on the head. I am coming to see you, but I come to you again, hat in hand, asking a favor. So is it going to be busy tonight?
Good Lord. Bruh. Come on. She kind of looks around, sees if there's like a line. And business is probably pretty brisk, but it's a slow night for them, middle of the week. People don't be having too much money to spend. The weekends are way bigger. Just come inside with me real quick, and then I'll tell her I got some family business to handle.
How about this? Looking hungrily at the line, seeing if there's anyone that made a debt or two. How about this? You go in, you start with the sob story. I come in, your cousin. I need your help. Something's going on with Ma, Dad, whoever. How about Uncle Schleppy this time?
Schleppy. Ain't nobody seen him in a long time.
Exactly.
Cool. All right. Well, give me like 5 minutes, then come in and get me, and we'll get out of this. You gonna owe me though.
Course. As you could tell, I got bodied last night. I don't even remember who I got bodied by, but I can guarantee you that I had far too much fun. So the devil's got to get paid. Old sire in my ass demands
so you
a
don't
few
remember
things.
her.
I don't remember that. Her, him, them. It all drinks the same.
And then Lyric will head inside to talk to the manager of the strip club, who she's fairly close with, and they know they can count on her a lot of the time. But she's like, "Hey, my cousin came with me to work tonight. I gotta go help my mom out because they're having a little bit of problems in the neighborhood, and she kind of like flexes a muscle. I gotta go help them out. I'll try to come back if I can before too late, but if I don't make it back, you can just dock me tonight, because I know I'm leaving you short-handed. Sorry."
They eye you up and down with a slight eye roll and a sigh. And then they finally acquiesce and let you take care of your business.
Having not found anybody tasty enough, I come hurriedly in. Hey, cuz, we gotta go. Uncle Schleppy has gotten involved. You good?
Yeah. I'm coming. She's like looking at the manager, like giving her that, "I'm sorry. See, problems." And then like she turns and heads out the door at Finn.
Alright, you guys head back into the streets, leaving the thumping strip fair standards behind you, flashing lights, the drunk desperation that fills the room. Then we cut back across town to a small lab workspace to Jacob, who we assume is hard at work trying to come through with the big breakthrough that has been demanded of him.
As always.
And as you're working, you hear the familiar sound of a presence behind you.
Jacob will turn around, divert his attention from the experiment, and see who it is.
And your sire stands over your shoulder, watching you work for a moment with a frown. He looks down at you, and in his thick German accent, which I can't do, he says, "So, my child, what do you have to report to me this evening?"
I don't expect much success with this combination. The previous results weren't promising, and I don't expect this combination to be any different. However, I will do my due diligence and finish, if only so we can rule this out.
Sometimes it makes me wonder if my choice in you was a wise one.
I assume you are here for more than just to belittle me.
The one does not have to be exclusive from the other. He reaches into his jacket pocket, pulls out a scrap of paper, and hands it to you. Says, I need you to be at this address by 11 prompt.
Jacob will read the scrap of paper.
It is with a man which we wish to court some favor from. He has some resources that are not available to us.
Resources such as...
If what I have been told is true, he has access to some notes that are not too outside what we are researching.
Very well. 11, you said?
Yes, sharp.
I will be there promptly.
Do not fail me in this. Do not fail me in this.
I will do my utmost to meet your expectations, as always.
He steps around you and leans over to see what you're working on. He kind of clicks his tongue a little bit and sighs. Yeah. Gives you one last lingering glance and heads out of your work area.
He stands there for a short while after his sire leaves, clutching the paper but not looking at it. Going through his head how he was somehow... how reduced he now feels from once being a respected member of a hospital and now being locked in this basement and being seen as nothing but a failure. He turns back to the experiment and sees that the reaction has finished, and much as he expected, the result is inert. No, the sought-after changes did not occur. There was no actual reaction, and he stops himself just short of striking the vial in frustration, as he does not want to contaminate any of the other samples. Instead, he simply disposes of the failed experiment, completes the notes, and prepares to leave for the address.
And across town in the escape room, as Penny finishes her little snack just to take the edge off the night, she is alerted on her way out that there is a message for her.
Q. She'll take the message and read it.
Scrawled in a shaky hand of one of the employees there. It is an address and a quotation mark around your services are required. 11 o'clock.
See then.
That.
Poor dear. I should give her the rest of the evening off. She'll go back up to her condo and change into something more appropriate, because if they're requiring services, that's probably driving. She will change into something more appropriate to that, and then head down to the basement.
All right, so you move through the building you own down to the basement, which I assume is a garage that houses your vehicles.
It is!
And which car do you select for a job where you assume that your services are driving, but you know nothing else about?
Right. So many options. Probably less flashy would be good, so she will go with her Subaru.
All right, and we've taken care of Penny. Is anyone else looking to maybe get a little bite on the way to take the edge off of the evening? Except for Jacob, who feels, pretty normal.
I mean, hey, I could still look for something if you... No, I won't.
Yeah, actually.
That's the thing about being kindred, you can always eat. Alright, so Finn is still looking for an opportunity to have a little snack. Does he become proactive about it, or is he just kind of passively waiting for something to catch his eye?
Nah. We need to get a nice little bev on the way. I don't know what trouble Nora is gonna be kicking in my way, so I probably need to grab something. Hey, yo, Rick, you okay with me grabbing a bev on the way?
I thought this was an emergency, but alright, cool. We can stop.
Come on now, you know
Actually,
Nora's
you know
always mad tight about everything, so this is an emergency for her. It's gonna cost me probably an ounce and a half of skin.
Facts. Alright, cool. Yeah, if you want to stop, then I guess I should stop. Just in case.
Oh yeah. That's the ticket. We need to get a little bev in us, so we go into this with the utmost concern and care. Unlike what you did over in, Chinatown the other week.
See, why you bringing up old shit, though? You don't want me to start pulling on your skeletons at your closet, bro.
Right now I don't mind. I think that would be just the perfect thing to get me in the right mood to deal with her shit.
So anything that might be convenient on the way is a little out of either one of your wheelhouses. Is there a specific way you might want to go about finding some food?
Making that crosstown from Hells over to Midtown ain't all that much in the way in terms of what normally appeals to me. But I know Rick is, to put it mildly, kind of a tough guy, so what about near the hotels over there off of 37th? You think we might be able to find something? A bunch of tourists.
She's also good with trap, obviously.
Yeah, see? Why not get a little takeout?
Are you planning on going all Lady and the Tramp style?
Probably. I mean, like, if she can lure somebody into an alleyway, damsel in distress style, because she can look innocent and poorly when she needs to. It's the big hoodie. She can, like, kind of cuddle up. But yeah, we can drag somebody into an alleyway and make quick little snacky snack.
I do kind of wonder how that'll play since you're dressed for work, but we can certainly give it a try. If you're going to go all alley cat style, that's going to be a strength and brawl.
Do I need to work separately or just as an assistance?
You can assist. How would you be assisting in this endeavor?
With his background in being a shitheel, he's very manipulative. So it's someone slightly inebriated, so looking for any easy point of leverage to kind of nudge him in that direction to make it easy. Like, oh my god, you see that girl back there? She was like, oh, setting up the lure. He's the shill and she's the catch.
Alright, so you're going to find the mark and let her do the beating?
Of course.
Alright, so we will let you... Let me look at the sheet here real quick, because I bounced from sheet to sheet anyway. Yeah, you are fairly manipulative, so we will definitely give Lyric an extra die on her attempt. Due to the distraction and the easiness that you cause.
I'm not gonna say roll high, but remember you're rolling for 2, Lyric.
With my specialty in joint locks, help me out in this situation.
And that would qualify as a grapple, so I'd say absolutely. Alright, you have a hard time remembering when you've hunted outside of your normal preferred method where it has gone even nearly as well as it goes this evening. You find someone who is all too eager to lend a helping hand, even though the hand is bitten quickly. And you are both able to sate that hunger, take the edge off, quiet your beast at least for a while.
Ah, yeah, Rick, you going OD out there. That was pretty fucking good.
We are going to make sure, though, that the victims left in a happily drunken, leaned against the wall state. Obvious bite marks cleared up. He'll be alright after, a little nappy nap. And we're good to go.
That's a good point.
Probably all he'll remember is that he was mugged. But he was already quite well imbibed for the evening, so you guys both have a little bit of that flowing through your blood. Kind of instills a little extra confidence, makes you feel good for the evening.
Excellent. Can I take his wallet?
Absolutely. He's not in any condition to tell you no.
Yeah. You got a cell phone?
Well, everyone has a cell phone these days.
He doesn't anymore.
And that'll probably be what stings the most.
I'm not keeping it. I'm going to drop it down the next sewer grate that I find, but you can't have a robbery if you don't take that phone, even if it's just a piece of shit.
You would be suspect. And I assume you do the same with the wallet?
No, not exactly. The wallet goes in the trash. All the credit cards and the IDs come out. The IDs stay in my pocket, but the credit cards, I'm going to give it to the next homeless person I see. Like, hey, look, I found Christ and he told me to mendicate to the poor. I think you should go buy yourself some lunch on me, on my company, because if we don't look out for each other, who else is going to do it? Pretty much hopefully get them to at least buy something small and easy so it shows that his card was in use after he was drunk.
Well, whether he believes you or not is irrelevant, because he is more than happy to oblige that request. So that bit of business taken care of, you find yourselves on your way once again to the address in Upper Midtown. Jacob, we don't know what your normal routine looks like, but this is a deviation from it, obviously. You've had to leave the lab, your makeshift area where you do all your research and experiments. How do you plan on getting across town to Midtown?
Okay, serious question. Does taxis still exist?
They do, yes. I think they are still very much a leading industry within Manhattan.
My taxi, then. He's not exactly much for the walking type. Once upon a time he might have been, but since he died, well, getting your steps in doesn't exactly benefit your blood anymore, so a cab would be most convenient.
And a little safer than the subway at night.
That indeed.
And Penny, you're going to drive there.
Yeah.
Do you make any stops on the way?
Unlikely that she needs to, so she'll just wander around for a little while because she does enjoy driving after all. But she will be there at 11 o'clock promptly.
And now's the point where we get to know our characters a little better. Who is punctual and who is fashionably late?
There ain't nothing fashionable about late except for the coffin they leave you in. So the whole point is for us to get there early enough to scope the scene, especially being as Noor is a pain in the ass. She's not horribly problematic, but she dead ass always gonna put you in a situation. So it's best for us to get there in enough time to scope the scene and see who's who and what's what.
And since Lyric is being dragged behind you on the way, that will account for her timeliness. Jacob and Penny?
Jacob is trying to arrive as soon as possible.
Would he arrive? Would he arrive early if it was possible, or is he trying to cut it right on time?
Early if possible.
All right, so we have 3 earlies, and that leaves Penny, the Toreador, who I'm sure is going to go the other direction.
Right. Well, normally she would, but as her services are required, she's actually going to be there early enough to drive around a few times, get a lay of the land, and figure out which way is out, and get out and stroll up right at the stroke of 11.
All right, you enter a rather lavish building. It's mostly offices. It's very tall. It's probably 50, 60 stories. You, obviously, as part of the address, you have a floor number, the suite number. You are able to individually, because you don't all conveniently arrive at exactly the same moment, take the elevator up to the given address, where you find yourself in a waiting room. We will say Jacob, being the studious egghead that he is, probably arrives first. What do we see when this man enters from the elevator to the lobby? What does Jacob look like? How's he dressed?
Jacob, let me pull it up. Jacob has dark hair with some streaks of gray, whether that be from stress or from possibly dying, it's unsure. He wears round glasses. He's dressed in formal attire and wearing a dark blue coat He's also wearing gloves, which is rather unusual for this time of year, but unknown to others, Jacob usually wears them because he tries to hide some scarring that has developed from some of the more dangerous experiments that he's been a part of.
There, they don't see anyone around. Most of the offices are dark, but there is a reception area with some sparse furnishings that you are able to sit upon or lean upon as you look around the marbled floors and whatnot, waiting for presumably someone to approach you. Within a few minutes of that, the elevator dings open and we see Finn and Lyric walk in. They can describe themselves and their attire in the order that they see fit.
Well, the reason why Finn isn't too worried about the walk of shame is that even at play, typically wears a 3/4 length darker jacket, vest, a button down, and slacks, something that's easy enough to be, if need be, stripped down or added to without getting in the way. So even after a night out partying, he's fairly presentable. His shoes are well used because, well, it's a good way to throw people off their game. People look at your shoes and think they have an idea of who you are. But otherwise, he's fairly nondescript, his beard and hair pulled back. What's Rick rocking?
I was putting visual assistance in the chat, but Rick, when I said just for work, she has to be a little sexy, but for the most part, she can be comfortable, seeing as how she's normally taking money in a door person. She's wearing currently a pair of charcoal gray faded jeans with little stars that are in a black and white, a matching black and white sweater, zip up. But then under it, what makes it sexy for work is there is a red and black cross body style bikini top that shows off her midsection, and if she was to take the sweater off, her muscles and arms. She's fairly tattooed, got one across her belly button, one on her face. Hair is braided back, very obviously African American, big hoop earrings, but still fairly pretty.
As you enter the lobby there, you do see one other person who is probably, I'm assuming, sitting and fidgeting a bit.
Sitting and trying to, if there's something like that they have laid out to read, he'd be just reading that. If not, he would be fidgeting.
There are several copies of financial publications laying about.
Then he would be reading one of them just to try and occupy his time.
Hey, yo, Egg, you here to link about this chatter, or we waiting on somebody else?
Jacob raises an eyebrow, wondering if he's the one being addressed, and realizing that there's no one else here, he puts the book down and turns and says, well, I'm unsure whether I'm supposed to be meeting you or if there's someone else here to be meeting.
So that's a no. You ain't the link for this.
No, I am not.
Alright, that means we're waiting on somebody else, or start looking around for cameras or intercom. Hey, yo!
There are definitely some surveillance cameras around the elevator area and into the office, but you don't. There's a reception desk, but there's nobody behind it at the moment.
Move to the desk, start inspecting things.
About
laughing.
the time that you get to the desk, the elevator dings and opens once again. We see Penny entering, cutting it close. What do we see when Penny enters?
As Penny enters, she will be dressed down for what most people would think of a toreador. Skinny jeans, tank top, flannel over it, all designer, of course. And in her back pocket, there's a ball cap hanging out with her hair's light brown, blondish. Step out and look around.
I believe you know Finn. I think you guys did some business once before, didn't you?
We did. She will smile largely when she sees Finn. Finn, darling, it's so good to see you again. Air kisses.
Yeah, that makes it real sus. You ain't trying to switch up to somebody else again, are you?
I was told my services would be required.
Hey yo, I didn't think it was that sort of situation. I'm here to pay a debt. We probably talking about some cheddar. You know how Noah get down. Looking over the receptionist desk, is there anything there?
The usual stuff you'd see, some notepads, pens, a computer, a phone that's multi-line. Not anything out of the ordinary. Though it is quite well appointed, you can tell that you're in probably some sort of financial offices.
So, Penny, we know what you good for, to get us around here and there. But if I'm here for about a debt, and you know, Rick is here because she brolic is all get out. Yo, Egg, what you here for?
Referring to me?
Yeah, man, you ain't gotta be all aggy about it. Look, you got glasses, so you an egg, you know? Ain't nothing personal. It's just glasses, gloves, reading actual books. Come on, no one even looks at those things. You know how many germs have probably been on there?
Are you really concerned about germs when... Well, to answer your question, I am here at the behest of my sire.
Oh, they got you too, huh? Alright, real talk. It seems like it's gonna be another setup, as usual when dealing with Nerf. But yeah, you should be worried about germs, because while we can't get it, everybody we touch, you wrap it up for the person you're dealing with, not for yourself, you know?
Fair enough.
So you all sit for about 5 minutes, making small talk, whatever, sitting in silence, whatever you would prefer to do, though I believe some of you would probably prefer to fill the silence. And finally, a mousy woman in a smart business suit walks out from one of the back dark offices and looks you all over. Waits till she has everyone's attention, says, "So this is all of you then?"
It would seem so, yes.
What, you need more?
He wasn't real specific on how many he asked here. We didn't know how many would come. But if you would all like to follow me to the conference room.
Gladly.
Stand up and follow along.
And you walk down dimly lit hallways, past many offices that are dark and shut. Maybe just the soft hum of computer lights and whatnot. All glass-walled, glass-doored offices with names that mean nothing to you stenciled onto the doors. You finally reach a rather large conference room with a table that easily seats 20 people. And you see a man with his hands folded behind him, of average height, little heavier than average build. He's got his hands clasped behind him, looking out the window over the city. He doesn't seem to turn or regard anyone as the door is opened and you are let in. And the woman says, "As you asked, is anything else required of me?" Unclasps his hands and waves her off over his shoulder without turning to look at anyone. He's got sort of salt and pepper hair. He's got a neat little beard from what you can tell. He does look familiar. None of you actually know him, but you know that he is someone of import. If you are correct in your assumption, you know that he is referred to as Mr. Edwards. Yeah.
I ever do business for Mr. Edwards.
What was that?
Finn ever do business for Mr. Edwards?
Not directly. He's probably done business at the behest of Mr. Edwards as far as his identity services go. Finn would know that he is a prominent Ventru in Manhattan. And given the nature of who he is and who he deals with, he often looks for people to have new identities, and not no small amount of them not even being dead folk like yourself.
Alright, Rick, there's probably not gonna be no scrap up in here, but we out the moment shit looks real sus. Got it?
Should we flex him? Bet.
I don't disagree.
So does anyone sit, or does everyone just kind of linger?
Oh no, we hanging out like a bunch of strap hangers, waiting on him to say sit or whatever else. He's supposed to be some high, big dude. Lots of chatter, lots of moves, so we waiting on him. It's his call.
He lets you all linger for a minute or so, minute and a half. Then he finally says, "You may be seated."
Word, you got it.
Now, who sits where?
How many chairs is it?
About 20. One at each head, and 9 on either side.
Move to the middle of the table. Pull out a chair for Penny and for Rick, and then take this chair immediately to Rick's right.
And Jacob, do you just follow suit and sit with the rest of the group?
Yes, I'll be sitting with the crowd this time.
You see in the reflection of the glass that Mr. Edwards smirks to himself as where you've all chosen to sit is fairly telling. He says, "You're probably wondering why I've summoned you here. And I'm not a man to waste a lot of time. As at least one of you knows, I am calling in some debts to take care of a problem of mine." I don't suppose any of you are old enough to know the blessing and damnation of having sired a child.
You tripping if you think we gonna get somebody pregnant.
Would that it worked that way. At least then you could write it off to an accident and perhaps forgive yourself. Not so much for the act, but for the choice.
So
Go ahead.
Nah, I'm just saying, yo, B, we know Penny got the whip. We know the egg obviously got something you need, probably some computer code with a virus or something on it. And Rick is brolic as all get out. So yeah, we wondering why we here, but kind of bugging. Long story short, it's like a recipe off the internet. One time my grandmother told me about this thing that my granddad did. I just want to know how to make a bacon and egg and cheese. That's it.
He chuckles as he turns and moves to sit at the head of the table, folding his hands neatly in front of him as he regards you all. You've dealt with older kindred before. You know how unsettling they can be as the age and time allows you to abandon more of your humanity. Give up some of the mannerisms and become more efficient in your movement. He sits very statuesque, appearing very much the dead thing that he is. He regards you all for a moment. He says, "The reasons that you've been chosen are my own, but suffice to say that I've called in markers where able." He's like, "I don't believe I know you, miss," as he looks to Rick.
Nah, we probably don't run in the same sort of circles unless you come down to like the kitty cat club or stuff like that. I mean, you might come down to the kitty cat club. Like, I didn't want to get like rambling and stuff, but yeah, nah, I don't think we know each other like that.
One other set of hands could be useful. I assume someone here will vouch for you, or else you wouldn't be in the room.
Nah, for real, B, she vouches for me. She keeps me on the straight and narrow, so, you know.
As I was saying, one of my children has proven quite problematic as of late. He has taken something that belongs to me, and I would like him to give it back. Were I to approach him directly, I don't know that I could be responsible for my actions. Therefore, I seek to operate through proxy.
So a heist is what you're asking.
If it becomes necessary, though you may be able to just ask him for my property. That's where I will. Go ahead.
I'm assuming if we mention your name, he won't respond very kindly.
Our relationships are beyond strained, to put it lightly.
So you need us to jack your kid for his grip so you don't put him under the ground. What is it?
What is it that he has of mine? I would prefer to not divulge that information until it's entirely necessary. It's very precious to me. I'm sure you're all into the night long enough to understand that some secrets we have to keep.
That's understandable, but how then will we retrieve what you require if we don't know what it is?
Well, he will either give it to you, because he will certainly know what it is that I speak, or that you speak, or we will move on to the next phase, or the next attempt to return my property.
So what's on deck for that next step, B?
Well, I'd rather not get into that until it becomes necessary. I think the four of you showing up and demanding, I think it might send a message. There'll be implications behind your words. That I am trying to do this diplomatically, rather than reclaiming that I gave him. Which of course comes with its own set of problems for me that I would prefer to not indulge in.
So you want us to bag your grip, not know what come next, get it back to here. Whatever it is, this mysterious, grimy little whatever. So that you don't have to beast out on your old kid.
I guess that is a rather eloquent way of putting it. I can tell you that my property is not something that will get you in any sort of undue trouble or cause any scrutiny by merely having it as you deliver it to me.
All right, well we link up with your kid.
He reaches in his pocket, pulls out a small, fancy stationery envelope. He slides it down the marble table, stopping not perfectly in front of you, but close enough where somebody can reach over and grab it. Inside, you will find an address and a picture of my child. I have sources that tell me that this is where he should be found this evening.
And he'll reach over, grab it, and open it up and put them down on the table face up.
You got anything that smell like him? I can help with that.
I'm afraid that I do not. Our relations have been strained for quite some time. But now they've reached a escalation that I can no longer tolerate. I do also require that this matter be handled with discretion. The less prying eyes and questions involving it or surrounding it would be the best.
Understood.
Now, some of you are here as a repayment for a debt, or through some sort of arrangements that your sires have made on your behalf. The ladies, however, we will certainly be able to negotiate a favor in the future when you return to me.
That's
Delightful.
what's good.
That seemed a little ratchet, but okay, cool.
He stands up, smooths out his jacket, rebuttons it. Says, so are there any other questions? Or shall you be about it then?
Yeah, nah. That seems
Look
sus.
at the address. Is there anything else we need to know about this location?
No, it is in Upper Midtown. Has a wonderful view of the park, I'm told, though I've never been there.
Is there anything you can tell us about your child or that might be useful?
Well, pardon my vernacular, but he is a bit of a prick. But that was originally when I chose him, that was a benefit. He's not long into the night. He may be younger than some of you, if my sources are correct.
Yo, B, that's Master. You probably should say pause because you chose him because of his prick. That ain't cool. And younger than us,
Different.
you here? Yeah, nah.
I believe it's a different definition of prick.
It's more of a personality trait than a physical attribute.
More commonly known as a twat waffle.
Rick, under the table, like elbows spinning the side, like, cut that shit out.
He should. Yo, he should have said pause, kid.
Is there anything else I can assist you with before you go and assist me?
Penny will look at the photo and flip it over to see if there's a name written on it.
There is not.
Perhaps his name?
His name is Charles Wentworth. Chaz to his friends, which really should tell you a lot about the man.
I see. A pretentious twat waffle.
It's been quite successful in the markets.
Does that name sound at all familiar to Lyric? Running in the strip club areas, like, would he have popped into maybe one of the higher end clubs?
His sort pop in there all the time and throw around money like it's nothing. But this particular man, he looks much like any of those boys who go in there and have more money than brains, and but you don't recognize him specifically.
Okay, fair enough. So she's like studying the picture, looking at him. I know that's tight, but yeah, I ain't seen him before.
I mean, he does have does feel familiar to all of you to some degree, because you're sure that you've seen him at a salon or an Elysium. But you have no knowledge of the man other than that. Not much of a mover or player in kindred circles. And to be fair, New York hosts a whole lot of vampires, so...
True. She looks at me. Alright, well, we burning moonlight. We should probably get up out of here.
We can't go nowhere without Penny anyway. She the one with the whip.
Fair enough.
Maybe this time you should have said pause as she gets up.
As you all stand,
Penny will stand up and look over at the elder gentleman wearing glasses that's on our side of the table. What is your name? That's you, Jacob.
Yo, Egg.
My name is Jacob. Pleasure to meet you all.
I don't think Jacob's much of a mover or shaker in kindred circles either, is he?
No. Not by any stretch of the imagination.
So you may have seen his face once or twice before, a long time ago, but you definitely don't know much about him either. Finn and Penny are rather well known in kindred circles.
It's true.
And I would think Rick's reputation is more of the child, so not specifically herself a mover and shaker, but her parents, her child, or her sire was.
Yes, but my impression was that Rick kind of avoids that sort of nonsense.
Uh-huh.
Hey, yo, Edwards, we're gonna go ahead and bounce. You got anything else you want to share with us?
No, I believe you are prepared for what I've asked you to do.
Yeah, nah. We're gonna do what we can do. Make no promises, though. We're gonna try.
Well, then I will hopefully see you before the sun rises. Should it be cutting it close, I can certainly accommodate you.
That would be appreciated. Thank you.
And as you all stand up, the woman is just, unobtrusive as she is just there to lead you out again.
Penny will snap up the picture and the address, slide it back in the envelope.
All right, so you are shown back to the elevators. The woman is very quiet. She seems actually to be maybe a little bit nervous in your presence. She's clearly not one of you. She stands there politely as they wait for the elevator to arrive, and as it dings open, she gives you all a singular deep incline of her head and heads back in the way she came. And as you step into the elevator, I believe we might have reached an appropriate time for a break. So if everyone wants to take 5-10 minutes to smoke, pee, grab a snack, we will adjourn here in between by 10:50.
All right. See you soon.
All right. Yay!
We still have a couple minutes there, but I am back if anyone else is back. Well, we're all back.
I'm here.
Back.
All right, is everyone back? I know we have Jacob and Penny.
Hey, yo.
That sounds like everyone is back. So is the elevator ride down many stories, is it quiet, or is there some conversation going on that would presumably lead to the car and on your way?
Yeah, no. Edward seemed mad sus. I don't know about what everybody else's is on this train ride to hell, but this smell wild as all shit. Maybe a little grimy and crusty to boot. You know what I mean?
The thing is, man, you don't trust nobody anyway, so it's always gonna smell grimy to you. He might be on a level a little bit. I mean, you seem like a nice old man.
Jacob, you seem like the egg. What's all that high-functioning upper medulla oblongata saying about all this? He didn't even know his kid's name.
He did. Child's name is Chaz.
Mm-hmm.
As for what I think of this all, it's... well, every elder has their baggage. If there's anything I've learned, it's that to them, kindred like us are next to nothing. We are expendable. So don't trust anything that he says or promises us. But play along, do as they say, and avoid any harsh consequences.
Penny, time for some real talk.
basically, it just seems like he wants us to go. Hi, Chaz. It sounds like you're having some big feelings tonight. But taking Daddy's property isn't the way to go about that. That was a bad choice. Now, how can we make a good choice?
I'm sure if you greet him in that exact tone, he will wet himself in terror.
It's good to know that I haven't lost my mummy's voice.
Yo, just to be real, the moment shit hit the fan and we can't out bro like whatever's going on, I'm out.
Yeah, we should probably swing by and get a different car. I didn't know how inconspicuous we were going to need to be, so I brought the lame one.
And what's a lame one? What sort of whip you got that looks lame?
It's a Subaru. Compared to my other ones, it's pretty basic.
Oh, Subaru. That's a good car. Maybe we should all, go find some flannel.
You move through the lobby and into the street. I assume Penny found some garage parking. There's not a whole lot of street parking in Midtown, as I understand.
Absolutely.
So the plan is to return to Penny's and change vehicles, or are you just going to make do with the Subaru, the fancy luxury car that it is?
I mean, fancy, sure. Right. Absolutely.
It's got the power windows and everything.
It does. But yes, back to Penny's to grab a different car.
Where does Penny live?
Penny lives Broadway. Flatiron.
So not terribly far this time of night. It's many blocks away, but it's a couple miles. It's a bit of a stretch, but there's not a whole lot of traffic in the evening, so mostly cabs. So we return to Penny's. We've seen some of the inside of the building. What does the outside of the building look like?
The outside is just a plain brick facade. It is in basically what row housing or row office buildings or row retail establishments. The first floor is a Doc Martens shop. Second floor is a iPhone shop. And then the third floor is her escape room. The Penny Dreadful.
So it's like a hipster mecca then.
It is.
All you need is a coffee shop.
Right? I'm sure there's one nearby.
So I assume you point the car into the underground garage?
Yes.
Is this a private garage, or is this just parking for the building?
Oh, it is a private garage.
Probably intended to be parking for the building, but as you own the building, you decide what happens to the garage.
Indeed.
So, you pull into the underground parking structure?
Yes.
And you all slide out of the fancy Subaru and into...
I will give them the option. We have, the motorcycles are probably right out because they will only fit two at best. She does not have a sidecar. So there's a Bentley Continental, a 70 Chevrolet Chevelle, or a 36 Auburn Speedster.
Most of you probably get the feeling that Penny might be showing off a little bit, which is not unlike most Toreador.
Yeah, we stand in Midtown. We probably should go with the Bentley so we can blend in.
That's what I was thinking. Should probably change out of the flannel.
Forgive me, because, I mean, you got it, girl. You balling and all, but just in case shit goes sideways, don't you want to take a less nice vehicle? So if this one get messed up, you ain't gonna be too sad about it.
Nah.
I'd be sad about it. I'd just repair it.
Nah, Rick. Penny balling out. You know, she got it like that. Anybody stay over on this end, 18th ain't for the low rent at all.
And leave it to a Toreador to be just as concerned about the presentation as the mission.
So, not to get all up in your business, Penny, this whole building, you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Come on up while I change.
That's a good idea. Get a chance to scope out the scene. We might have to fall back to your place instead of going and hanging out with Mr. Edwards and doing sleepy time. He's just kind of sus. I don't know if you guys got that or not. So far, what I'm getting is everybody's all on board with the, treating like it's straight up.
I mean, he is kindred. Who among you is trustable?
What do you mean? I'm very trustable. You see, I'm a dishonest guy. You can always trust a dishonest guy to be honest about their intentions. And my intentions are always out for myself. It's the ones that present themselves as honest that you never really ever worry about because you know they're going to do something stupid that's going to screw you over. And I'm trying to get us in the right headspace so that we get screwed over in the way that we are mostly okay with.
Jacob raises an eyebrow as Finn begins to respond to a voice that he cannot hear.
There's an ebb and flow to these sort of things. I know you guys got questions. No, I have questions. Sometimes they require us talking out loud because sometimes the only way to get an expert's opinion is to talk to yourself with a group of friends and associates.
Precisely. She'll walk over to the elevator and turn the key, enter the passcode to the 4th floor, and gesture into the elevator. I'm sorry, it's a much shorter ride to the top.
So as the elevator opens into Penny's domicile, Jacob, this is probably way more opulent than you're used to living, even though it's probably modest by a lot of upper clan standards. Is there anything noteworthy we should be aware of, Penny?
It is mostly it seems like it'd be very light and airy, like it's designed for people, not dead people. And there is a door that goes out to an outdoor balcony garden. So it's not a small one. It's probably 12 by 12-ish.
Suddenly your choice of flannel makes more sense. So Penny heads off to change. The rest of you, I'm sure, look about.
Oh yeah, we definitely snooping.
She'll poke her head out and size up Lyric to see if they're about the same size.
Lyric is pretty tall and mostly muscle upper body. So unless you got something that's kind of stretchy, probably not.
She'll grabs Lyric's hand, come on. Browse the wardrobe. She so rarely gets to be girly with other people.
Looks back at Finn with eyes that are huge like saucers, oh my god, help.
Nah, B, you got this, kid. Go do your thing. Me and the egg gonna get to know each other a little bit better.
I say, normally I would move the scene along as the girls have girl time, but the interesting thing to look at right now might be Jacob and Finn alone in a room together.
So this is the part where we tell each other, each other's backstories. We get to know each other. You tell me whether this is your last job, your last day on the job before things go, sideways.
On the contrary, I have a feeling that I'll be in this business for a long time.
Ah, shit. That ain't a good sign at all. That means that I gotta tell you my backstory. This is my last job, and things gonna go sideways, and you're gonna have to avenge me. You know how that goes.
Yes, and you were just 2 days away from retirement, weren't you?
Exactly. So...
Buddy cops. Go ahead, don't let me interrupt.
So... Real talk, Jacob. You don't exactly seem like the sort that would be running errands for anybody. You seem like the sort that would send somebody out to, get your dry cleaning, come back to the university, and all that sort of thing. Who you with?
I am with my sire, one of the Tremere.
Don't know too much about them. I know you guys got that spot over up in Central Harlem, about the Morningside by the college.
Yes, we've been working closer to the hospital I used to work at, Mount Sinai. But...
Which one?
Well,
The one by Central Park?
yeah, that's the one.
Oh shit, I can see that from my roof.
Huh. Strange we never bumped into each other when we were so close.
Small world. I got family up in Harlem, so I'm usually up that way from time to time. Or down in Hell's Kitchen. All the party spaces,
You sound like you've had a very storied life. Or unlife, as it were.
Something like that.
Finn, your sire has a great amount of distaste for the Tremere. Do you share her opinions?
Oh, fuck no. Nor? Anything that she has a distaste for is probably on the up and up for somebody else. She feels that we should all join hands, bend our knee to the idea of Hakim being the only thing worth serving. She feels that we are wasting our time, that Hakim is as old or perhaps older than the actual power of Cain. Like Cain didn't find himself until Hakim came into being. Hakim has been around longer than every other religion, which means that's who we should be worshiping. I didn't grow up that way. I didn't grow up with that understanding. I don't even like that understanding. We shouldn't be worshiping anything that's been created by another man.
Out of character, I realized just how horrible of an idea it was to just come out and say, I'm a Tremere, to a Banu Hakim.
Nah, you're okay. I wouldn't stab you in the back. I'd turn you around first.
Yeah, it makes him charming. A naive little scientist type. So I'm sure the
Jacob
girls...
wouldn't... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Don't let me interrupt you guys.
No, I'm just saying, out of character, Jacob wouldn't really know the clan dynamics, so it makes sense that he would just be like, oh yeah, I'm one of these guys. That's not a problem, is it?
Probably not something your sires really touched on, especially the enmity between the Banu and the Tremere. It's not really important to your work.
It's the other reason why Finn has been asking instead of offering. So while we wait, what's going on in the closet?
I assume that you're not braiding each other's hair, but do you find something suitable to wear to your fetch and get it mission?
Well, clearly I find something suitable in my own wardrobe.
Something posh and dazzling for your extortion mission?
Exactly. And put the best face forward.
And what do we find for Lyric? And if we find something, is she even willing to wear it?
Keep the jeans. Big stars are cute. Something a little less revealing for the top, I think.
So, you have like a t-shirt? I like black t-shirts.
Go over to the dresser drawer. Do you want like a band t-shirt or just a plain t-shirt? Or a cute graphic tee? I've got all sorts of things. She'll pull the drawer out. These are the black ones. Feel free to pick.
Lyric kind of looks around to see, make sure Finn is nowhere near the room, and she kind of looks in the drawer to see if there's like a t-shirt with a cat or like an animal on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Those are like her secret. So I'm sure there's like a t-shirt that's mostly black. It's got like just the top of the head of a cat and like the little paws kind of like it's peeking out of the front of the shirt or something like that. And she'll put that on.
Jackets are in that one.
I'm sure the comedy of the situation is that even though she's small-chested, she's wide-chested due to the musculature. So the shirt is like very stretched, but like loose at the waist, so she tucks it in to the jeans. And she's like looking through. You got a lot of leather jackets. I mean, like, is there something to that?
I like riding motorcycles. I prefer those to the cars.
Like you could be a dominatrix. Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna nobody hustle. I mean, you could probably pull it off with that voice you pulled off in the mic, in the elevator. That would get you some fat cash, you know. But you obviously don't need it or nothing. So she's like, while she's talking to her, flipping through the jackets, and she finds like your basic biker jacket zip up thing. It's black, and she puts it on over the shirt, and then taking her braids down, shakes them out, and then retwists them up into like a top knot, and like presents herself like, eh?
Yeah. Suits you.
One thing that's painfully obvious to all of you is that Penny is quite well off. I mean, she owns an entire building in Manhattan.
That has definitely been a thing for Rick, because even though, you know, she's not poor by any means, but she's not rich. She's not this. So she's kind of like almost scared to touch things at points. Like she'll get her dirt on it, and her inner animal is like anxious.
Not the sort of circles you normally run in. Go on, Finn.
So while we are enjoying staring at each other, now that he's revealed that he's one of the warlocks, I go snooping to try to get them moving along before, old habits rear their tasty little heads. Considering, as a warlock... So, Jacob, your sire owes Mr. Edwards? Or are you getting something else out of this?
I suspect it's something else. My sire didn't really elaborate on their relationship, but he said that Mr. Edwards had something that we would need for our research. Not sure how he got his hands on it, but my understanding is that if we succeed in this, then I will be able to acquire this.
Yo, kid, you got anything on you that leads back to your sire right now? I'd just like to know if I'm gonna get the knife twisted from you, of all people.
Well, I mean, there's always my blood. That always leads back to my sire.
We can rectify that if you want. But let's go find the girls.
I don't know, Finn. That kindred blood sounds pretty tempting, doesn't it?
For me? Nah. It's been a minute since I got as smacked as I did from this juiced up cocktail that me and Rick enjoyed on the way over, but I'm not quite that far gone yet. Smacked. I'm not done.
And about that time, the girls walk out.
Hey, you guys are just in time. Jacob was coming to look for you guys.
Oh, did you want a tour? Although I suppose we should probably get going.
Oh, can't be fashionable if we're not late. Of course, how early should you beef to an extortion racket? Never know about those things. Look at you
15
getting all
minutes.
dolled up.
While this is going on and them two are exchanging words, Lyric is very carefully and slowly, unrealizing she's doing it because her animal like his head was already riled up. She's very slowly circling Jacob and sniffing delicately around the top of his head, trying to figure
What?
him out.
What are you doing?
You got that homeschool vibe a little bit, right? Trying to figure out what you are.
You probably shouldn't do that. You probably shouldn't figure out what he is. He shared family secrets, and we are sworn to protect his honor so that he properly stabs us in the back. Well, his sire, anyway.
Jacob, you know your sire doesn't consider you more than at all one of his favorite people, but what's he gotten you into now?
Some part of Jacob thinks that this is all a joke that his sire is playing on him.
So everyone being properly attired and prepared and having basked in the opulent wealth of the hipster Penny's abode, I assume we return to the ostentatious car and get on our way.
Absolutely.
We haven't done much dice rolling tonight, which is kind of the way I prefer it, but if Penny could give me a wits end drive as you cross across town to Upper Midtown near the park.
Sure can.
Remember in the car, is Jacob sitting up near Penny, or is you back with Lyric so that we know kind of like how we're split up.
Penny would advise that anyone who gets car sick easily probably wants to be in the back with the windows down.
Nah. It's a Bentley. We should ride in the back.
I don't know that car sick is much of a deal anymore for you and your conditions.
I mean, sure, but, you know.
So, Penny, you are going to take Park all the way down, right? And then cut over on 52nd or something, right?
Penny will just stare at you.
I mean, you know, 3rd Avenue is probably nice too, but it's going to be packed. You got all of the hotels and the Chrysler and all of that over there.
But it's more fun.
I don't know about you. In fact, I probably do know about you. You like sitting in traffic. That ain't a good time for anybody. Even sitting in the back. Oh, these seats are nice. I like this. What's this? That Corinthian stuff?
Yeah, probably.
Feels nice. It's like, Rick, hey, is this what, like lambskin? I'm not sure. I thought Corinthian, but it just doesn't feel like Ricardo Montalban to me.
Having near nothing else to do that she can think of, she literally leans over to the seat next to Finn and like sniffs along the edge of it.
You're grimy. You're being real grimy right now. That's like... When was the last time you drove this car, Penny?
Let's see. When did she drive it last? Probably when she brought it home, which would have been... about 3 years ago?
You got a whip like this and you don't drive it for 3 years. Yeah.
I mean, I turn it on and drive it around the block.
Here's hoping you ain't breaking this back seat with nobody.
The Lyric's looking at Finn like, why you treat me like I'm weird? You asked me the damn question, and you know how I find out things.
Fair, I suppose, but I'm not the one tripping. Like, I'm just saying that's real grimy. I ain't think you ain't know when's the last time someone sat back here, and you get all sorts of. Ooh, look! It actually had the full ashtray back here in the door. I thought they got rid of those in cars.
Amazing what you can do when you customize things yourself.
That does bring up a question. Is the car meticulously cared for, or is it just sit in storage most of the time?
I assume she generally has a lot of time on her hands to maintain her cars, and maintain them well. Can't have anyone else working on her babies after all.
That's fair. The ashtray must have escaped your notice. So as we move across Midtown to the upper part of it, you find the address that you're looking for. There is a parking structure not too far down the block from it. I assume that is where you will put the car, even though you might be a little leery to leave it in the garage, being what it is. There's not a whole lot of options.
He generally does not seem too concerned about it.
I guess when you're as well off as Penny is, you can always buy another one, right?
A new one. A better one.
You should probably check the hours. You know these things close. Typically, like 1, 2 in the morning. We shouldn't be that long, but we don't know what we're walking into. What if he's a talker?
Well, then he wouldn't be too terribly different from my ex-husband.
You know, that didn't strike me as something that you'd ever actually ever done.
I was a human once.
Will you though? Will you?
So moving down the sidewalk as you talk, the building itself is one of those high luxury, high-rise buildings, slightly taller than the office building that you left not too long ago. One of those places where the rent is about what an average person in the Midwest makes a year. There is a doorman who holds the door open for you. Apparently, for some reason, you are expected.
Oh, that ain't sus at all.
Of course not.
You move through a well-furnished, very green lobby, and plants around. Seems like they're trying to make it as homey as possible while still portraying the luxurious and exclusiveness of the building. There is a whole bank of elevators. There is not an attendant at the elevators at this time of day, being rather late in the evening, 2, 3 in the morning. And I assume we just make our way up.
With glancing around, making sure exits, emergency exits, all those sorts of things.
That's a lot of stairs. We're gonna have to book it down if this goes sideways.
There is, because you're going all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Of course we are. So, Jacob, what is it you do for a living?
In life or now?
Either.
I used to be a doctor. Now I'm a lab rat.
Lab rat, huh? Do you do the experiments, or are you the one experimented on?
Some days I wonder the answer to that question myself.
Ah, the rat then.
The elevator dings and it opens right into an apartment, actually. There is a door. It doesn't actually open into the living area. There's just a single door, no hallway.
That just me, or does this feel like a trap?
I don't know why you would think that.
Oh, it's definitely a trap. But is it a trap if we know that it's a trap? Jacob, what do you think about that?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Jacob?
Well, in order for it to be a trap, they'd have to know that we were coming.
Clearly they did.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Jacob's gonna throw up heightened senses and sense the unseen and see if he can find anything amiss between those two.
If you'd like to go ahead and roll Sense the Unseen, I don't have the book open currently. So if someone else can get that information quicker than I can open it, feel free to volunteer it.
Scrolling. Specs.
It's usually like something in Auspex. What's in Auspex, I think?
Yeah, yes, I guess it's just what's in all specs either way. Alright. Oh, we are starting off strong this game.
Definitely. Well, you were fairly confident that this limited space that you were in, if there was something to see that was hiding itself, that you would see it. But you don't see anything. On the other side of the door, however, you do hear the soft strains of some mournful music. Some obscure classical composer. You don't really hear anything else. You don't really smell anything. As far as vision goes, all you see is the door.
He turns to the others and says, well, I don't think that there's anything hidden here, but there is someone in the room beyond that door, listening to some kind of sad music.
Well, anything besides.
I'm guessing that's our man.
So anything besides Wu-Tang is sad anyway, so what are you gonna do? Walk up to the door, give it a cut.
Are you knocking or trying it?
Oh no, knock first, then try it.
Alright. You knock. I assume Jacob has dropped his heightened senses, otherwise that will be not painful, but inordinately loud for him.
Yes, he will drop it.
You wait about a minute, no one answers.
Alright, try the doorknob.
It, surprisingly enough, is unlocked. Which probably doesn't help to ease your paranoia. Between the doorman, the easy access, and now the door's unlocked.
Hey yo! Chaz! We're the welcome wagon. We're here to get the thing.
The apartment itself is extremely lavish. Makes Penny's place look like a dump. Highly polished marble, lush carpets, expensive art adorning the walls. Extremely expensive furniture. And you can see across the room, just on the other side of the bar, is a patio that leads into a garden. The door is currently open, and you think you see a figure out there.
Hell. Benny, he's clearly some of your echelon of ostentatious. You want to handle the act right, being as he's out there mourning our deaths in advance?
This is beyond anything that I would have. Even I have haste.
Not necessarily outside your means, it's just more ostentatious than what you prefer to surround yourself with.
Alright. Well, we will head towards the door.
What is everyone else doing? Are they coming with her?
Yeah. Hey, yo, Chaz!
Lyrica is going to fall to the back to be rear guard.
Alright, so you move through the suite, out into the garden, which has some statuary. Again, very expensive, very presentable. You see a man looking out over the city, a wonderful view of the park, holding what appears to be a glass of brown liquid. Not drinking it, but just holding it. Wearing an expensive tailored suit, or at least half of one, the slacks and a vest and a tie, but not the blazer. As you enter, he turns slowly to regard you all, swirling the contents of the glass in front of him.
Mr. Wadsworth?
I assume he sent you. I was wondering when he would come around.
You assume correctly.
He's looking to recover his property.
He sets the glass down on the railing, chuckles, smiles at you all. Says, I figured as much. There is one thing I need you to know. Again, I would do it all again for her. And he opens his arms and tumbles backwards off of the balcony.
Ah, bloody hell. Go try to catch his ankles.
Too much distance. I know you have some celerity, but not enough to close the distance. Takes a lot to kill a kindred, but you are 600 some feet up in the air. And you're pretty sure that would probably do it, just the sheer amount of trauma that it will take when he hits the ground. And so with that, our episode ends not with a whimper, but with the sound of crashing glass and screams in the street below as he hits the sidewalk with a bang, spreading himself a good 10 yards from impact. The age returning to him as he dies in pieces. And as one final thing, our view cuts to somewhere else. In a dimly lit room, you can barely make out the lower third of a woman's face, her lips stained with blood, her chin smeared with it, and her lips turn slowly into a fang-filled smile. And that's what I got. Hopefully you all had an interesting time. I know it's a little different